On the African savanna, every step carries survival pressure, and even the smallest movement can determine the survival of an entire cycle. At the center of the African savanna, the environment remains under constant strain. Heat rises from the ground, causing the air to shimmer above dry grasslands that stretch to the horizon. Dust stays suspended, and the smell of hot soil and withered grass fills the space. Living conditions change continuously, with no factor remaining stable for long periods. Here, the existence of animal species is never guaranteed. Each day introduces new demands for energy, water, and temporary shelter. Biological rhythms operate at high intensity. A minor deviation can interrupt the survival chain. The savanna is vast but difficult to access. Food resources are unevenly distributed. Water sources shift with the seasons. Species are forced to expand their movement range and continuously adjust behavior to adapt to environmental pressure. There is no extended period of rest. Conflict occurs frequently. Territories overlap, movement routes intersect. Species compete directly for grass resources, carcasses, and secure locations. Each encounter consumes energy and forces precise evaluation by the individual. Under intense sunlight, this sequence of actions repeats day after day. Life continues not because conditions are favorable, but because of endurance, adaptation, and timely response within a constantly changing environment. Within the continuous chain of conflict on the savanna, some encounters leave clear physical outcomes. One of these involves confrontations between lions and African warthogs. These events are not frequent, but when they occur, survival pressure on both species rises sharply. Lions approach under full control. Movement remains low, slow, and continuous. The body blends into tall grass, minimizing detection. Distance closes step by step. No movement is wasted. Each approach aims to gain advantage in the decisive moment. Warthogs do not remain stationary in danger zones. Their bodies are compact, but reaction speed is high. The head stays raised, while ears and snout continuously scan for signals. When pressure is detected, direction changes immediately. Running paths are unpredictable. Short and abrupt turns force the approaching predator to adjust constantly. The primary defense of the warthog lies in its curved tusks, sharp enough to cause severe injury at close range. African wild dogs belong to the group of predators with the highest hunting efficiency on the savanna. Their prey takedown rate is extremely high compared to the general average. This result does not come from individual strength or body size, but from a hunting method that is tightly organized and precisely repeated across many generations. Unlike solitary predators, African wild dogs always move as a pack. Formation is maintained even during long-distance travel. Each individual holds a specific position and performs a defined function during the chase. When a target is detected, the pack spreads rapidly, creating pressure from multiple directions at the same time. The hunt usually begins with speed. African wild dogs do not rely on prolonged ambush. They force prey to move continuously, cut off escape routes, and push the target toward exhaustion. Distance is maintained at an optimal level, close enough to apply pressure and far enough to avoid counterattack. This process can be extended, but it rarely exceeds the prey endurance limit. When the prey weakens, the pack tightens the encirclement. There is no hesitation. There are no pauses. When the prey collapses, consumption occurs very quickly. The carcass does not remain on the ground for long. Multiple individuals feed simultaneously, with each portion processed immediately upon access. This limits the arrival of scavenger species and reduces the risk of losing newly obtained energy. For species such as warthogs, the outcome can occur within a short time. Individual defensive ability is insufficient against continuous collective pressure. However, not every hunt is successful. African wild dogs pay a high energy cost for each pursuit, and failure still occurs. When conditions are unfavorable, African wild dogs do not maintain position through absolute strength. They persist through organization, movement, rhythm, and group discipline. No emotional factor or preference influences the outcome. Instinct, efficiency, and adaptability alone determine which species continues to hold position within the harsh savanna predation chain. Solitary behavior is not always selected. Male cheetahs often form alliances. Two or three individuals, usually litter mates, move together. Cooperation allows targeting larger prey and protecting captured food from intrusion. A blue wildebeest appears. Body mass reaches approximately 550 pounds, which is 5 times heavier than a cheetah. The body is covered with thick skin. Horns are curved and sharp. Hooves are solid. For a single cheetah approach, risk approaches self-destruction. The alliance converts risk into strategy. Cheetahs assign positions approach from multiple directions and control movement trajectory. Speed, endurance, and coordination create effective encirclement. Each step and movement aims to reduce counterattack opportunity. The hunt ends in success. The prey is taken down cleanly. Cheetahs feed slowly without urgency. There is no need to drag the carcass upward or fear loss to competitors. Cooperation removes pressure and risk. Each alliance member maintains position, maximizing efficiency and securing success. This hunting form demonstrates coordination and tactical capacity in nature. Collective strength surpasses solitary ability. Speed, endurance, and organization generate decisive advantage. The alliance not only captures larger prey, but preserves energy and reward, confirming survival efficiency in the wild. In the Serengeti, spotted hyenas are true predators. A large domed skull contains extremely thick jaw muscles. Bite force reaches 1,100 pounds per square inch, exceeding lions and leopards. Conical premolars are designed to fracture the physical structure of prey. Spotted hyenas are the only species in Africa capable of crushing the long bones of buffalo or giraffes. The digestive system contains highly concentrated hydrochloric acid that breaks down bone, teeth, and horn. After feeding, no remains are left behind. Long-term research shows that 70 to 95% of hyena food intake comes from active hunting rather than scavenging. The heart accounts for nearly 1% of body weight, providing endurance for speeds of about 37 miles per hour across distances of 3 to 6 miles. Prey does not die from wounds. It dies from exhaustion after continuous pursuit until resistance is no longer possible. From approach to capture and food processing, Every detail shows a body evolved for long duration and efficient hunting. The Serengeti records comprehensive hunting capability, including strength, speed, and specialized digestion, combining to place hyenas at the top of the food chain. Spotted hyena society operates under an absolute matriarchal system. Females are larger than males and display higher aggression resulting from androgen exposure before birth. Even the lowest-ranking female holds dominance over the highest-ranking male. The control system relies on complex political alliances. The frontal cortex is highly developed, supporting individual recognition, vocal memory, and tracking of hostile relationships across generations. The characteristic laughing sound does not express emotion. It functions as an information signal encoding age, status, and physiological condition. Hyena clans coordinate and interact continuously to maintain order. Each individual clearly understands position, role, and authority. Internal conflicts are resolved through signaling, body pressure, and temporary alliances. Confrontations with lions occur regularly and determine ecological balance in the Serengeti. Hyenas maintain clan strength, coordinate hunting, and defend territory. Every behavior, from rally calls to hunting tactics, reflects social structure and advanced memory capacity. The combination of matriarchal organization, individual memory, and acoustic communication forms a structured society. This system maintains order, controls power, and optimizes survival capability in a challenging wild environment. If the Serengeti functions as a zone of conflict, the Grumeti and Mara rivers serve as lethal corridors. Turbid water conceals survivors from the age of dinosaurs, the Nile crocodiles. When the dry season lowers water levels, crocodiles withdraw. Heart rate drops to a minimum. In a resting state, they can hold breath for up to 8 hours. while waiting for the largest annual event, the Great Migration. When millions of wildebeest and zebras are forced across the river, crocodiles strike. Bite force reaches up to 5,000 pounds per square inch, 5 times greater than hyenas and 8 times greater than lions. Teeth are not used for chewing, but for holding. The remainder relies on physical mechanics. Crocodiles clamp prey and rotate along the body axis, tearing flesh into sections. Afterward, the highly acidic stomach completes the process. Acid strength is sufficient to dissolve flesh, bone, horn, hooves, and even metal. Crocodiles combine weighting, reaction speed, and physical mechanics to control prey. Each bite and each rotation maximizes hunting efficiency. This process requires limited energy while ensuring success. River corridors become zones of lethal pursuit. The female crocodile fasts for 3 months to guard the nest. Eggs are protected against monitor lizards, baboons, and potential intruders. The body remains motionless, while eyes monitor all movement around the nest. Any intruder faces deterrence through crocodile strength. When eggs hatch, hunting behavior temporarily withdraws. Powerful jaws become flexible enough to gently hold hatchlings. The female releases young into water, ensuring safety during early life stages. Ferocity and care occur simultaneously. Crocodiles function as apex predators while also serving as effective protectors of offspring. Each action reflects survival optimization, including nest, defense, strength, maintenance, and protection of the next generation. In the wild, survival and care are not mutually exclusive. Nile crocodiles clearly demonstrate this through every movement, from egg guarding to releasing hatchlings into safe water. At Retina Lake in Serengeti, from a distance only scattered grey rock-like forms are visible. At closer range, strong odor and low rumbling sounds reveal the reality. Hundreds of hippopotamuses crowd together in mud. They remain almost motionless at the water surface as dense bone structure prevents buoyancy. Hippopotamuses move along the river bottom as if operating in a low-gravity environment. The skin is extremely sensitive to ultraviolet radiation. They secrete a red, oily substance that functions as sunscreen and antibacterial protection, keeping skin from injury and infection. This mechanism is a refined survival adaptation that maintains health under harsh conditions. The primary danger is located in the mouth. The jaws open to 150 degrees, and the lower canines extend up to 19.7 inches. This species represents the large mammal with the highest fatal risk to humans in Africa. During daylight, hippopotamuses gather in groups. At night, individuals leave the water and travel alone to graze. An adult can consume up to 88 pounds of grass across a distance of 6.2 miles. Waste released into water becomes a nutrient source for aquatic ecosystems, sustaining natural cycles. Hippopotamuses represent a combination of muscular power, skin protection mechanisms, and ecological behavior. From crowding in mud to delivering extreme bite force from underwater movement to terrestrial grazing, every detail is optimized for survival. Retina Lake becomes a living stage for one of the largest mammals where strength, physiology and behavior combine to maintain position within a harsh ecosystem. The dry season applies widespread pressure across the savanna. Water levels gradually decline. Grasslands lose moisture. Easily accessible food sources are rapidly depleted. Species are forced to adjust feeding strategies and activity rhythms to maintain survival. Warthogs adapt by exploiting less competitive food sources. Hard roots are dug from dry soil layers. Old tubers and withered grass replace fresh biomass. These resources provide limited energy, but are sufficient to sustain basic activity over extended periods. Tolerance to water scarcity allows warthogs to extend travel time between drinking points. They reduce movement during the hottest hours of the day. Foraging is concentrated in early morning and late afternoon when temperatures are lower. Biological rhythms are adjusted to limit water loss and energy expenditure. However, tolerance is not unlimited. As drought persists, stored reserves decline noticeably. Reaction speed decreases. Travel distance is reduced. Pressure to locate water increases with each passing day. At midday, the savanna becomes nearly motionless. Sunlight blankets the ground and forces most movement to a minimum. Most predators retreat into shade and wait for temperatures to drop. However, one exception remains active during this time window. Cheetahs do not depend on cooler periods. Their vision is optimized for open terrain and intense light. Two dark tear lines beneath the eyes reduce sunlight reflection from dry ground, preserving image clarity at long distances. Under conditions that limit visibility for many species, cheetahs retain the ability to detect targets. Near a shallow water pool, signs of dispersion begin to appear. A juvenile warthog separates from the group after drinking. Distance from adults increases steadily. The return path lacks cover. The ground is open, with no complex terrain to conceal movement. The lion body is optimized for short, explosive bursts. Large muscle mass and powerful hind legs generate strong propulsion. Speed can reach very high levels, but only lasts for the first few seconds. Breathing rate then increases rapidly and heat accumulates while performance declines clearly. Hunting for this species is not a long-distance pursuit. Strategy, therefore, focuses on the initial moment. The approach must reach sufficient proximity. Force is committed in a short charge. If prey escapes the decisive distance, the ability to continue pursuit nearly disappears. Prolonged effort only consumes energy and increases the risk of exhaustion. Many hunts end immediately when the first strike fails. During the dry season, survival pressure increases. Food becomes scarce. High temperatures reduce physical tolerance. Lions are forced to adjust target selection. Prey with unpredictable escape paths or high endurance becomes a risk. Priority shifts to species with familiar movement patterns, limited reflexes, and short-range counterattack ability. Warthogs fall into this group. Body size is moderate. Movement often follows habitual routes. Escape distance is short. In many cases, this choice fits a rapid burst strategy. However, this calculation works only when environmental conditions are supportive. Today, heat becomes the major barrier. Intense sunlight accelerates dehydration and overheating faster than expected. After only a few acceleration cycles, breathing exceeds controllable limits. Muscles become heavy. Distance does not close fast enough. The prey exits the pressure zone. The decisive moment passes. The hunt no longer has a basis to continue. Stopping is not a choice, but a biological requirement. Additional expenditure would reduce hunting capacity in the following days. When the lion withdraws, the space returns to a neutral state. There is no carcass. There is no clear sign of conclusion. Only footprints remain on hot ground, along with extended heavy breathing. Failure is not rare. It reflects structural limits of the body under specific conditions. Explosive power provides major advantage only when timing, temperature, and distance align. When one factor shifts, the outcome changes immediately. On the savannah, no organism holds absolute dominance. Predators fail when speed, position, or distance are insufficient. The presence of warthogs, lions, and other species creates a continuous reaction chain. When herds move, soil compresses, dust rises, and grass structure changes. All behavior is measured by energy expenditure, movement distance, and immediate survival capacity. This interaction chain operates continuously without pause. No species remains superior over long periods. Each individual contributes to maintaining ecosystem balance. The savannah persists through cycles of migration, hunting, response, and rest. Rhythms of movement, feeding, separation, and access to water ensure survival in harsh conditions. Serengeti, where grass scorches under sunlight, allows no margin. All organisms are exposed, with no place to conceal. The cheetah moves cautiously in heat at 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Hunger prevents stopping. Prey appears. A solitary warthog is present. The cheetah identifies position from distance, with vision unaffected by heat shimmer. Distance remains at 164 feet. The slender body stays hidden within tall grass, nearly invisible. Soft paw pads and toe walking allow silent approach. Near termite mounds and dense brush, the surroundings remain still. The warthog lies motionless. Across its body, an entire group of mongooses moves while searching through skin folds. This is a purely biological process. Warthogs live in mud and burrows which accumulate ticks, fleas and parasites. Without removal, health condition declines rapidly. Mongooses search for food while performing a sanitation role. They inspect skin folds, ears, eyes, and small crevices. Each parasite removed, and each movement is precise and efficient. The warthog maintains position and remains completely still. There is no movement and no resistance. All activity focuses on completing cleaning. When the process ends, the warthog stands and resumes life in mud and burrows. This moment records direct interaction between two species. It represents a refined ecological mechanism where parasites are controlled and protein is exchanged. Every movement and action by the mongooses serves a defined purpose. When the process ends, the environment returns to a quiet state while biological effects remain present on the warthog body. After the hunt, the cheetah enters a state of exhaustion. Breathing becomes rapid, body temperature remains elevated. Muscles have not yet recovered. At this moment, another threat enters open space. Baboons appear in groups. They do not hide. They do not approach covertly. The troop advances openly and forms a closing front. Distance narrows meter by meter. Tusks exceeding 2 inches in length are clearly visible. Attack posture requires no concealment. Large males hold central positions. Other individuals spread outward, blocking all retreat paths. Ground vibration increases through repeated forceful impacts. Vocalizations project continuously. Visual focus remains concentrated without dispersion. There is no physical contact. Pressure is generated through sound, movement, and numbers. The cheetah does not respond. Energy levels are insufficient for acceleration. Defensive capability is nearly absent. There are no claws suited for close combat. Bite force is insufficient. No supporting individuals are present. All options remain restricted. Cheetah body structure is optimized for straight-line, high-speed movement. The skeleton is light. The spine is flexible. Semi-retractile claws function primarily for ground traction during acceleration. In direct confrontation, these features provide no advantage. Injury to a forelimb or hind limb can end hunting ability. For a species entirely dependent on speed, this outcome becomes irreversible. Serengeti does not belong solely to lions or cheetah sprint paths. It functions as a tightly structured and severe hierarchical system. Every ecological niche is occupied by specialized predators. Apex predators regulate populations and maintain ecosystem balance across millions of years. Spotted hyenas, leopards, African wild dogs, cheetahs and lions each perform a distinct and irreplaceable role. Serengeti is not shaped only by predators. Wildebeest herds form a continuous energy flow through the ecosystem. With numbers reaching 1.5 million individuals, they create the largest living mass on the savanna. Movement, migration, and survival of each individual sustain the overall rhythm of life. Every predator and every prey species functions as a critical link. Role distribution, population scale, and hunting strategies create a stable ecological network that persists across millions of years, keeping Serengeti active and under constant tension.